It's time for the news.
Another UFO sighting has taken place.
The leather's made out of cardboard.
The number you have dialed is in an alternate dimension.
Welcome back to Weird Week. It's been another weird week. DK, how we feeling, man?
Feeling good.
Feeling good. Feeling good, looking good. Anything going on this weekend for you? You see any family or anything? Isn't it Memorial Day weekend, or is that next weekend?
They're all memories to me now.
Right. Time. I'm your host, Jack DeMont. Daniel Kim is with us, and we're just gonna jump right into things. Let's start with this kind of funny, interesting, weird one. In Georgia, it feels like you shouldn't have to put this statement out there. It's one of those things where it's like, we really have to say this? Georgia's driver services, Georgia's Department of Driver Services, has had to put out a public announcement to request that patrons trying to get digital IDs please wear their clothes. Stop coming in without shirts and without your clothes on. Take photos for your driver's license with the shirt on, man. Come on. This is one of those things you shouldn't have to ask people to do. It's one of those like, okay, now we have to make a rule because we didn't think we would have to tell anybody this.
But there are idiots out there who will probably send stupid dick pics and stuff like that. Wouldn't you think there are at least some people that are just like, if they didn't say it, they'd be like, well, they didn't say it. They didn't say I couldn't do it.
Well, I think if you're taking a photo ID for your card, it's like in person, right?
I think you can take it remotely. I don't think they're showing up to the DMV naked.
Well, I'm also not assuming that they're naked, but they could just be trying to show up like shirtless or something. You think that this is all people sending in their photos of them just being naked?
I mean,
setting up the ID for your phone, it stands the reason that you would need to take your new ID photo yourself. That's crazy that they're letting people apply through their phone. Like, this feels like the type of thing to me where you should always kind of have to go in person to get that like verification and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it also gives a new meaning. I mean, what selfies are right now. I mean, a lot of people take topless bathroom selfies now. So when you say a selfie, to some people they might be like, "Oh, I could just my pecs and my abs are where it's at."
Right. Well, face. And I do wonder, like, if it's not like true nudity, if it doesn't have a woman's bare breasts out or any genitalia from either sex, why would it maybe like not be okay? Like, if it was like shoulders and up and it was just, you could tell there wasn't a shirt on, like, but like a standard ID photo kind of where it's like cropped right from like shoulders and up, like, would that be an issue? I'm curious if like they are finding that to be an issue, or if it's like strictly that they're getting like a lot of dick pics and stuff, and like, please stop.
That probably is it. Or also, like, if you're the officer that has to ask for identification, are these your breasts, ma'am? I need to see them.
They're looking at the ID, looking back at you, looking back at the ID, looking back at you. Miss, these aren't yours. He's not even talking about the problem, like the issue at hand anymore. He's just looking at the ID. Come on, don't lie to me. These aren't your tibbies.
But I'm pretty sure there might be a handful of those people. You may be right. That might, I don't know. They probably ran a beta and they're like, everybody's just sending in dick pics and ass pics.
And like, you can just imagine too, like the employees that are getting those and whatnot, like, it's gotta be the last thing that they're trying to look at. Like, not only are they at work, but it's it's like the DMV, like people that work at the DMV are not happy. You can tell they don't enjoy the job. So it's like on top of that, you're gonna like flash poor DMV workers' penis, like poor.
Well, I mean, it depends who it is, I guess. It's like that might be the only highlight of their day if
They
you work
find the
at the
one person, they're like,
DMV.
"Who's okay with looking at dick pics?" I am. Okay, well, you can be assigned to this gig. Man, that's crazy. That's so funny though. I mean, yeah, it's like a DMV OnlyFans.
DMV OnlyFans. Okay, I think I found my new OnlyFans niche that I can do.
OnlyVans.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, because the DMV OnlyVans. That would be kind of creepy too, though. You never want to hop in a van with some. Man.
I mean, why
Speaking
not?
of, what's that?
I mean, why not?
They have the fan bus, right? What's it called?
Yeah.
The fan bus, the fan van.
A fan van, yeah, like yeah.
And there's
Man.
they have ladies and gents rolling around in that van,
Yeah.
ready to have a good time with other random ladies and gents around town.
Also, Bang Bus. I was a big fan of that. Them.
Right. Is that not the one I was talking about? Bang bus. What did I say? The fan van? Fan bus.
Van?
They must both exist. They must coexist.
Yeah.
But speaking of, fun adult sites, we have a fun adult site offering to be the sponsor of a soccer team.
Yep.
Those professional soccer teams around the world usually have a big logo slapped across their chest, and it's not their team name. It's not. It doesn't say the Los Angeles Chargers across their chest. No, for the LAFC, it said YouTube for a long time. I don't know if it still says YouTube, but they always have a big sponsor across their chest, and it looks like Inter Milan is currently sponsorless. They're running around with either just their team name or nothing across the chest. And one of the European adult sites, my.club, is offering to give them their services as a sponsor, along with and like as a sponsor, offering $80 million. Like that, if you are Inter Milan and nobody has been sponsoring your club.
Well, they did have a sponsor. They just went under. It's called Digital Bits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so they did have a sponsor. It's just as
at this
part
point.
of the tournament, yeah, it was blank. So I think the I never heard of the site, but it's an adult site called Mike.club.
It has to be like a European thing or something that's just like it sounds like a
well, any fans in Europe, I love you. Just to put that
in. But with an $80 million proposal as Inter Milan, like I would 100% at least take it into consideration, especially in the time that we're in now, where it's like we're trying to be more accepting of things and stuff like that. And like Europe and countries outside of America are usually more sexualized and into the idea of open free sex world kind of more. So I can see them actually getting that sponsorship. I don't know if the article says like that they've
well, I think porn is a little bit different
but
from like a naked body, like an Aphrodite or a statue of David. I think it might still rub some people the wrong way.
Yeah. I don't think necessarily like all the sexualization in Europe and whatnot is because of like their statue of David and stuff like that. Like I think they just, in a general sense, like accept that sex is just like a part of human life, and like for us to continue to prosper throughout our lives and on, we've got to have sex and have children and things like that. So it's like I think it's just a more welcomed, I mean, but like things like the statue of David being able to be shown and not like and not like pulled from books or having their kids, taken out of school because they're seeing like a statue with a penis on it and stuff. Like, I can see how that would also help influence those countries to become a little more sexualized and whatnot. But back
Yeah.
to the subject at hand is, I really do think that this sponsorship could be pulled off if no one else offers any more money than that. Like, the world revolves around money, and $80 million is a lot of it. And on top of that, like, it's giving them publicity. And it would only give them more publicity to be like one of the only or the first club to have essentially a porn site on their chest as their sponsor.
Well, it
It would
depends if
just
they
give them.
want that type of publicity. It does depend on that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but right, but like, that's where I'm coming from, is that it's like, if you're gonna take it, like, be prepared for it, but you might want that publicity. You might. Like, it's
Yeah.
an Italian. I think it's an Italian football league. Like, Italians are lovers, man. They love, Italian's one of the love languages. Like, they, mi amore,
Yeah.
when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. They love love and making love. I wouldn't be surprised if they got a porn site on their chests as their sponsor.
It's
And I wouldn't be against it either. Like,
Mhm.
whatever, dude. Like,
Well,
whatever.
to be fair, it says adult, so we don't know the extent of, because porn technically shows like
We
a
can look it
lot
up
of
right
things.
now. My dot
Yeah.
club. Here, let's look it up, guys. My dot club. See what I find. Yeah, it looks like it's like an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
It's got creators
Yeah.
like their own
Mhm.
subscriptions.
Yeah.
So
But we also have to look at it like this too. If the league is actually if that club is actually taking the sponsor seriously, they're also like competing against like more family businesses that might not be wanted to be associated with that site, like Coca-Cola, if you will. They're just like, we can't. And Coca-Cola is a gigantic company with a big pull. So I don't know. That could be the reason why it's such a debate. But also, there's also like, wasn't there a European movie that actually showed penetration? It was like a cinema movie that showed penetration or something.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's it. That's to my point, essentially, that it's just a
Yeah.
much more sexualized kind of like place in the world.
Mhm.
And I get where you're coming from. Like, obviously, some people are definitely going to feel like a porn site across their chest is not good advertisement. But I really do think it depends on the company and your beliefs and what you believe is good publicity versus bad publicity and stuff like that. Some people believe bad publicity is still good publicity because it's publicity, period. I would probably, at this point for our cast, accept bad publicity as long as it gets us some notice. At this point,
Like the I
I'd
Want to
be
Be
on that.
Ninja Lady.
I want to be ninja. That we were just talking about this earlier before the podcast about this lady that sings this song. It seems, it's pretty racist, and she's gonna say she's defending this video by saying, like, I'm just like doing an accent. It's like parody, like,
Mhm.
what's wrong with me doing like a parody accent versus, X, Y, or Z? And it's just like, because of the time that we live in now. Like, yeah, that's racist. We don't tolerate it anymore. And she's out here just trying to defend herself. And like, we're almost in a place now where people are debating whether or not it is or is not racist. But it's like, dude, I mean, she's putting on like a thick Chinese accent and saying like, I want to be ninja. Like, come on. That's not racist. Like, come on. Oh my god, crazy people. I don't understand it. Speaking of ninjas, I want to be there's always the great debate of like, what's better, a ninja versus a samurai, right?
Well, I think
Or is it
a
ninja versus
ninja
pirate?
is one of those. I don't know.
Yeah,
I never
right.
had that debate.
I used to see
But
shirts that would be like they would be like, ninjas are better than pirates, or like pirates are better than ninjas. And I would just like, in my head, I'd be like, who's comparing pirates and ninjas? Like, why are these two things being put up against each other?
Yeah,
Only thing I
especially
could
when
think of was
ninjas
like
are
One
much better,
Piece.
right? Especially when ninjas are better.
Well, when you think about it on like a real level, like duh. Put a ninja on a fucking pirate boat. He's gonna fuck all of them up. Like, that's all I gotta say.
No, it's also the turtles. The turtles were ninjas, and they're teenagers. They love pizza. We all could relate. They're
True.
pretty badass. Who do pirates have?
But
Peter Pan? Hook? Nah, I'll stick with the nerd. I'll stick with the turtles.
speaking of ninjas and samurai, we've got some gentlemen here in Tokyo who are using their trash skewers that they do, like they pick up trash with, as like fake little ninja samurai swords. And
Mhm.
I'm bad over here. They and they've got like little samurai ensembles on, so they can pick up trash as samurai.
Mhm.
Sounds like it's just a fun way to kind of get into cleaning up after your community and whatnot.
Yeah, it's it's cool. They want to kind of inspire other people who are lonely, kind of disconnected from the world, to also go out there and ha- connect back into society, I guess.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
just
pretty
like,
cool. I mean, they're doing two cool. They're doing something cool, and they're helping out with trash. I mean, I think that's a win-win.
yeah, yeah. It looks like a couple of like roughly middle-aged guys that
Yeah,
are just having a good time, like pretending to be
yeah,
samurais with each other.
yeah,
But like, if you're gonna be pretending to be a samurai, you know, do something productive with it as well. At least like
yeah,
that's what their eyes are. That's what they're saying.
yeah.
And they've got these cool like trash back backpacks. They're like these woven baskets that are strapped onto their backs, that they like they pick up the trash with these extended tongs, and then they slide it into their backpack. It's pretty cool. It's pretty badass, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. Like that's the. I mean, all cosplayers, step up your game.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are gonna be like some of the most authentic modern day samurais, but it is interesting seeing like a modern samurai because of the way that they have interwoven today's fashion with the samurai fashion, because they still have the samurai. I don't know what the what the outfit's called. It's not a kimono, but it's like a
Gaimono,
robe.
samurai mono.
Yeah, yeah, the samurai robe thing. They've got a couple of on, but it looks like they have them made out of like denim, which is badass. Like, I love I love denim, period. And to have like a samurai fucking robe made out of denim, that thing is
Mhm.
sick, dude. And they're wearing like fedoras, like that throws me a little bit. I'm like, you guys are samurais. Why the fedoras? Why the fedoras? Fedoras still look pretty cool. They do look like some pretty cool samurais still. But
Yeah,
I
it's kind
think
of
that
like,
one's kind of funny.
I'm
The
guessing it's
hat.
kind of like sneakers with tuxedos. It's like a little twist on a little bit of modern twist on a classic.
Right. They're doing a good job of modern samuraiing, and they're not murdering a bunch of people. They're picking up trash, which is really cool. And they've got some really comfy shoes on, man. It looks like they got, some like legit work comfort shoes on. Not necessarily a fashion piece in any sense. Just gonna get around town for hours and hours and hours picking up trash with these tongs. They're pretty cool dudes. I can appreciate what they're doing. And I want
Yeah,
one of these fucking denim robe things, dude. I'd be a trash samurai with these guys if I could get my hands on a denim fucking robe.
you hear that? Jack's willing to sign up. Just give him a denim samurai robe.
That's right. That's right. You can definitely tell too which of these guys is like the ringleader. One of these guys is definitely like head honcho, and the other
Mhm.
guy's like sidekick.
Well, which I heard that was a difference between, speaking of ninjas and samurais. The ninja is sensei-less, and then the samurai is sensei full.
Sensei versus Padawan.
Yeah. So I think the ninja follows his own path, and the samurai follows his duty.
Ah.
Apparently, I could be completely wrong, and then people could be like, "Daniel, you're a fucking idiot." But I from what I vaguely remember, I believe that was the main difference between the two.
And both are Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. I mean, I've always, I think a lot of people have always had like fascinations with different warriors of different eras. We talked about, pirates versus ninjas and stuff, but samurai versus ninja has always kind of been a thing in my mind of like which one is cooler, because they're both like Japanese warriors. Um the samurai is so much more like by the book, and he's like a hero tale type thing, and then the ninja is like so almost like anti-hero, or just like so independent that it's like, can you trust a ninja even if he is supposedly doing the right thing? I don't know if I could ever trust a ninja. They seem a little too shady to me. I want to be ninja. Moving right along. We've got so these guys are using like, their little tong things instead of samurai swords. Well, a US professor has recently threatened someone with a machete. It's not a samurai sword.
It's a professor in Hunter College. Her
She
name
had a
is,
machete.
yeah, Shailene Rodriguez is the professor's name. Don't know what she teaches, but she did it because there was a anti-abortion protest going on, and she threatened that protest, saying that this is not education, it's just propaganda.
Wow. And according to the post, she shouted, "Get away from my door, or I'm going to chop you up with this machete." She had a real machete. She held the machete to the reporter's neck after opening the door. You know, it is. It's hard because from her perspective, you man, it's hard. People should have the right to protest. That's like a thing that is just an American thing. We have a right to protest. So you can't threaten people with a machete, no matter how much you disagree with the protest and things like that. But at the same time, you can kind of see where she's coming from, especially the protest taking place on like her doorstep, you know. But where she's saying like this is it's not, what did she say? It's not like gonna propel things forward. It's just moving things in the wrong direction or whatever. Like, so is pulling a machete out on people. Like, that's also moving in the wrong direction. That is not the kind of future we're looking for, where it's like if you disagree with protesters, you decide to pull out a machete. That's where do you draw the line, lady? You can't, come on. You can't talk
Yeah.
about like how positive a future you're looking for, how you want like the future to be this, that, or the other, and then you pull out a machete on someone. It's like, what future are you talking about, lady? Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of overreaction from her part. I mean, I guess if you were a reporter and you went to their house about that incident with the protest, you I don't know. She must have. I don't know where she got a machete in her home, but I mean, if you were, I don't know, if you were felt threatened, I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but I mean, I can only. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like it was a bad reaction to a bad bullying. I don't want to say bullying, but like I'm guessing she was hounded nonstop, and she just got irritated. So it was just bad reactions all around.
Right. I would have to assume that the protest took place over a few days, and that's probably like she just got to a point that she was just really at her wit's end with it. But it's like I was saying, like like you said, she literally quote for quote said, "You're not educating. This is propaganda. This is violent. You're triggering my students." It's like, yeah, it is violent. Pulling a machete out on people. Like, what are you talking about, lady? You can't threaten violence with violence and try to preach peace. Like, what? Come on.
Well, also, you can't also say this is also the thing with professors too, that they're also at the end of the day people too. No matter how knowledgeable they're about a certain subject, it's also like they're also people at the end of the day. So it's kind of like, yeah, you feel for them. You put all these people on a pedestal, but you also have to realize at the end of the day that they're all people with emotions. So you can't. Granted, yeah, like I don't know, the way she did it wasn't how I personally would have reacted, but
Right.
I don't
I
know.
just think
You don't know unless you get to that point. It's just, I guess it's
right.
easy for me to say I won't be annoyed at what I'll do, but it's just pulling out a machete. That's something else. I mean, that's
Right.
not a gun, a machete. That's just some serious violence
Well,
stuff.
she probably didn't have a gun. She probably only had her machete, and that's the thing she grabbed. And
Do you think she has like? Do you think she like has a bunch of coconuts in her house to have this machete in her house, like cracking
no,
open
I
these
mean,
coconuts?
my family used to have a machete. It's to we would use it to cut down weeds in our backyard because we had some atrocious weeds. I mean, people have machetes because of gardening purposes half the time.
And coconuts.
And coconuts. I doubt she's got a ton of coconuts she's dealing with, but it could be the case.
Let me fill in the blanks myself.
At the end of the day, yes, like it's kind of wrong on both sides, and like in a way, like I definitely agree with her in what she was saying, but then she wasn't like backing up her words with the proper actions. It's like she was saying like, "Don't be violent," pulls out a machete. Like, what? You're not backing up your words with your actions. You're being violent, telling people not to be violent. That doesn't make any sense. Last but not least, let's just touch on it really quick. 500 gallons of oil were intentionally spilled across 33 miles of Lawrence, Morgan County roads.
Yep. By Keith and Laura Clark from Lawrence County, Alabama.
So they found the culprits, but from what we can tell, haven't been given a reason for why why they did what they did, poured the oil all over the streets. We don't know. Like, it's hard to tell if they were just trying to get rid of the oil or if they were doing
Well,
it
even though they're
to
trying to get
make
rid
it
of it, I think
slippery or
there's a proper way of doing it, even if they're trying to get rid of it.
well, right. And they probably thought they weren't going to get caught. It reminds me of a story that took place like 2 years ago, 3 years ago or something like that, where someone found like just literal tons of pasta in the middle of like a forest. It was just like cooked pasta, like macaroni, spaghetti, and like just tons of it in the middle of this forest. And eventually they found the guy that put it all out there, and everybody's just like, why so much cooked noodles? Like, why even cook them or throw them out there? And he goes, I threw them out there when they were uncooked. Like, he was basically, his mom passed away. He was emptying out her things, and she had just like copious amounts of pasta. and he threw it all out in the forest, like thinking that it would just like biodegrade or whatever. But like a rainfall happened, a really big rainfall, and so all the noodles ended up like plumping up and looking like cooked. So there was just this big mystery for a while of in like I think it was New Jersey or something like that of why there was just like a ton of noodles in the middle of a forest, and it was like this old military vet just like cleaning out his mom's shit, just like threw a bunch of noodles in the forest. But it's like so random, and it's like you said, there's always like it seems like there's always a better way to get rid of it. Like why not just if it's that many noodles, why not throw it into a giant like single trash bag and throw it out? Like I can't imagine it was bigger than a trash bag full of noodles. Like just throw that bag in the trash. Why pour it in the forest?
Do you think we should do like something creative punishment for these people that just didn't? I mean, because like I said, pasta is just it's not. I'm not sure. I don't know the harmful effects of pasta to the environment, but I can definitely say spilling oil all over the place is definitely going to be harmful to the environment. And do you
Right.
think we should be something creative, like make them drink the oil that they spilled?
That's murder.
I
I
think
hope
I think you and I can both kind of tentatively say that the world might be a little bit tad better if these two weren't around. So drink the
there's
fucking
several
oil, guys.
things that these people yeah, no, I just think, hopefully the criminal justice system does what it's supposed to, even though half the time it never does. And that these guys actually get some real jail time, because this is too much. And it's like people with that kind of mentality, if they aren't punished, they will think they can just do this kind of stuff whenever they want and stuff like that. So of course, they got to get punishment of some sort. But I doubt it's going to be as creative as that. They'll probably just get some jail time.
Okay, I was
Damn.
hoping for the drinking of the oil, but why not?
Maybe.
I mean, especially all the car accidents they probably caused by all that slippery oil on the road. I mean, they must have caused something.
Where they're located, they probably put it on some pretty empty roads. Like these were probably roads out in the middle of nowhere. Because like to be able to stretch 30 miles and be pouring the oil and nobody do or say anything about it, like it's got to be kind of like a big stretch of road out in the middle of nowhere, I would assume.
Oh,
But
okay, so they just ruined the land. So for less housing.
either way, it's
development. So
inappropriate.
housing
Yeah.
development, housing's gonna still stay expensive.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
more
Yeah. Yeah.
development.
Of course.
So fuck these guys. Drink the goddamn oil. That's my point.
Stupid. All right, guys. This has been a weird one, and it's just gonna keep on getting weirder from here, it feels like. So let's just keep on trucking. We'll see you on Wednesday. Like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends, your family, and give us all your money, because we like money and we need it. Thank you so much. Peace.